Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you for joining me for another one of my YouTube flows, upper body flow. So we are not going to be putting any weight on our wrists and through our hands today. A lot of yoga practices, we do tend to be putting a lot of weight on the hands. So today this flow is going to be completely free of all of that. So great flow for someone who wants to either just focus on lower body, or anyone who's got kind of sensitive wrists or shoulders and maybe wants to give that part of their body a rest, then this flow is for you. As always, do grab any blocks or props that you might need to support you in your practice. I definitely recommend having a couple of blocks today. If you don't have blocks, maybe grab some books or something alternative from around the house. And we'll get started. I'm going to be kneeling, but you could be in a comfortable seated position with your hips on the mat. So whatever works best for you. Bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly, and we'll ground into the clasp for a moment. So closing off the eyes or taking a steady gaze somewhere out in front of you. And begin to observe your breath. Listening to your inhales and your exhales. Relax your shoulders. Notice where you can feel the breath. Perhaps starting to give yourself a break from being in the thinking mind. Allow yourself to be in this present moment and simply observe your thoughts like they're visitors coming and going, and allowing them to flow through, accepting whatever shows up. Opening the eyes back up if you had them closed, and releasing the hands. And we're gonna inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Take your right hand to the left wrist. Inhale, making space. Exhale, start to come over to the right, feeling a stretch through the left side body here. Remembering you can adjust the legs or your sitting position here as much as you need to. Keep breathing here. Come back through to center, swap. So take the left hand to the right wrist. Inhale, grow the spine tall. As you exhale, stretch over to the left, feeling the right side body opening up. Keep breathing. And come back through to neutral, drop the arms down. Inhale, lift your ribs away from your hips. Exhale, twist to the right. And you could lightly use your hands to support you here, but you don't have to. Just coming into a twist over to the right. Maybe these right fingertips are lightly touching the mat, but we're really not putting any weight into them. Really initiating this twist from the waist, and then allow your gaze to follow in the direction of being over that right shoulder. Slowly release. Starting to get ready to come onto the other side. So take a deep inhale first, lift up and out of the waist, and on the exhale, twist to the left. Reconnect to your breath. On every inhale, lifting and lengthening, and on the exhale, releasing into the twist. And release. Gonna have a little bit of fun here now. Remember that this is just a bit of fun. We're gonna start, bring the hands behind the thighs, bending the legs, and start to take a gentle rock back and forth on your mat. So it's starting to engage through the core here, seeing how it feels, building up a little bit of momentum, and seeing if you can rock yourself up to standing without using the hands. If you need to come up to standing in a different alternative way, that's absolutely fine. Just having a bit of fun with it, maybe cracking a smile, not taking anything too seriously here. And then meeting me in this standing position at the top of your mat, so Tadasana mountain pose, grounding through the feet, bringing your option to bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, that's this prayer position at your heart center. And pressing the feet into the mat, strong foot foundation. We're going to start to step this right leg back and find your way into Warrior Two. So right leg's roughly in line with the side of the mat, front foot's facing forwards, knees stacked above the ankle, coming deep, bending deep into this left leg. You could adjust these right toes, have the toes pointing in slightly more if that feels more comfortable for you. And reach your fingertips away from each other, send your gaze over the left fingertips. Let your shoulder blades run down your back. Breathing here. And then we're going to see how it feels to start to sweep this right arm forwards. And as you do, bring the right heel away from the mat and pivot so that you're facing forwards, coming into a high lunge. So hips are square facing forwards now, back heel is off the mat. And on your next inhale, lifting up and out of your waist in your high lunge. And on the exhale, releasing. Keep breathing here. Bringing the hands down through to heart center, or you could pop the hands on the hips if you prefer. Start to bring the weight forwards into this front foot and pivoting forwards here, coming into a Warrior Three. So hips are square. Back leg is pressing out behind you. And feel free to reduce the range of movement. So you could be working with your Warrior Three here, working with the balance. Come to a place that feels right for you, that's right in your body. Keep the hips shining to the ground. Maybe you're reaching these left arms out in front of you. And release with control from your Warrior Three back to your Tadasana mountain pose. Take a little shake out with the legs. And we'll start to come onto the other side. So this time, step the left foot back. Make your way into your Warrior Two. Reach the fingertips away, send your gaze forwards. Breathing here. Keep the left leg engaged and activated if it's having a little rest. Keep pressing the feet down and away from each other into the ground. Start to shift. So bringing this left arm, circling it round to the front as you bring the left heel away, coming into your high lunge, Both arms reaching up to the sky, lifting up and out of the waist. Breathing here. Feeling into any shakes and wobbles. And start to bring the hands back down to heart center, or they could be coming to your hips. And then you could either step this back foot in first, or see how it feels to power through into this right leg and bring yourself into your warrior three. Keeping the hips nice and square. Remember, you can reduce the range of movement. And if you keep falling out and needing to come back in, that is absolutely part of the practice. That is part of building your focus, your concentration, your joint stability, your strength, all the good stuff. And slowly release. Come back to standing in your Tadasana, in your mountain pose. Release the hands to the side of your body. Close off the eyes, just ground here for a moment. And take this moment to check in. Maybe thinking about one of the yamas today in yoga, the yamas are the external behaviors. Perhaps thinking about the second yama, satya, which means your truth. Sometimes being in your truth could mean being vulnerable, could mean being transparent. It could be recognized, it could be about recognizing what your body needs in this practice. It could be accepting the truth of how you're feeling today. This could be translated into so many things, thinking about what that could possibly mean for you today. No right or wrong. Opening the eyes back up if you have them closed, coming back into the physical body. We're going to step this right leg back and point the right toes to the corner of the mat, and the front left toes are pointing forward and square off the hips. So getting ready to come into pyramid pose now. So hands on the hips. Inhale, lift your ribs away from the hips first. Exhale, start to come forward in your pyramid pose. Keep this left hip tucked in. Maybe you're coming ever so slightly forward, maybe you're coming down to this halfway point. Maybe your hands are coming to rest on the mat, but we're not putting weight into the hands here or forcing anything. Keep the right leg engaged, keep pressing the feet into the mat, down and away from each other. Inhale, start to come up from your pyramid pose. And step the right foot back in. Step the left foot back. And again, so this front right foot's facing forwards this time. The left toes are pointing out at a slight angle. Both legs are lengthened and straight, and we're squaring off the hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen first. Exhale, slowly start to come forward. And like I said, be in your satya, be in your truth. So maybe that means being here today and working with the stretch here. Coming to where you can feel the stretch in your body, and as always, coming to that place before your limit. Maybe you start to come down a little bit further, or maybe you don't. Inhale, start to come up from your pyramid pose. And this time we're going to start to open into the side plane of the body. So pivot the feet round. So we're stood in this wide leg stance. I'm going to point the toes forwards. You could pigeon toe the feet ever so slightly here. Bringing the hands to the hips again. Inhale, reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the hips, start to slowly come forwards into your Prasarita Padantanasana. Again, coming to the place where you can feel the stretch through your legs. Coming down to this halfway point, I'm going to pause here. If you're further up in the stretch and that's where you need to be, then work there. It's really important that we want our foot foundation and our legs to be in good alignment here. So lengthened legs, toes pointing forwards or slightly pigeon-toed. And if that means that you need to reduce the range of movement with your upper body, then I recommend doing that. If you're coming to this halfway point, see how it feels to lightly bring the weight forwards through the balls of your feet, observing that stretch through the backs of your legs. Keep breathing here. Some light engagement through the core. Inhale, slowly lift the chest back up. And then we're going to point the toes out. Adjusting the feet here as much as you need to. Sweep the arms up to the sky. And on exhale, bending through the legs, come into your goddess. Strong in your goddess pose. Taking some baby pulses here. Keep breathing. You're doing great. Just because it's non-weight bearing doesn't mean that we're not challenging ourselves. But remembering at the same time that if child's pose is what you need right now today, then take it. And release. Well done. Take a little shake out through the legs. And then bringing the feet slightly further than hip width apart, toes pointing out. Bring your hands to heart center and grab any blocks or props that you might need. And then we're going to start to bend through the legs, coming into our yoga squat now, so coming into Navasana. So for some of us, it might be helpful to have a block under the hips here to bring the mat up closer. You could be up on your toes if that feels good too. You could be in a complete seated Navasana with your hips on the mat, or traditional Navasana with your hips hovering. So find the option that works for you. This is a really strong pose on the ankle and the knee joint. So being mindful of that, and anything that doesn't feel right in anywhere in your body, trying a different option, giving a different option a go, finding what works for you today. Once you've found your Navasana, start to reach the crown of your head to the sky, find some length through the spine. Finding maybe a drishti or a focus point, and we want to engage Mula Bandha here. So engage your abdominals, especially your lower abdominals. Engage through the root. So this is our root lock. So energetically speaking, bringing engagement here is really important. So it's all the muscles at the seat of your pelvis as well. So it's not just these superficial muscles, it's the deep inner muscles within the body, within that specific area. So bringing that engagement and release from your Navasana now. Well done. You can bring the legs out in front of you on your mat. So lengthen the legs out in front and flex through the feet. Find your neutral spine position. If you need a little block under the hips or a cushion or anything like that, then grab that now. So light engagement through the legs, feet flex. Inhale, lift the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, walk the hands forwards. Hands are either coming to the thighs, maybe the shins, maybe the feet, but really leading with the chest bone. Return to the breath. Inhale, making space. Exhale, releasing into the fold. So many benefits to doing these folds. This particular fold, Paschimottanasana, can really help to lower stress in the body. Stretching through the backs of the legs, the lumbar spine, the lower back. Can have a calming effect on your nervous system. And slowly start to make your way up from your Paschimottanasana. And we're going to bend the legs here and plant the soles of your feet on the mat. And you could either have your hands lightly up behind your thighs supporting you here, or you can bring your hands away. And then we're going to lift the feet away, tipping back, coming into Navasana boat pose. Bring your hands to heart center. This is just an option if you want to work with coming in and out of your boat pose here, or having the hands behind the thighs. You absolutely can. It is a strong place to be, strong on the core and the hip flexors. So just keeping that in mind. If you want to take some taps with me, we're going to tap the hands to the right side of the mat. Bring them back into center. Tap them to the left side. Bring them back into center. One more time on each side. Right side, back into center. Left side, back into center. Well done. Release. Give yourself a big hug. Well done. And coming back to where you started the class, whether that was a kneeling position, whichever seated position is comfortable for you. Coming back to that place now, bringing one hand back to the heart center and one hand back to the belly, or simply resting the hands in your lap. We'll close off the practice. You could shut your eyes or take a steady gaze. We'll start to take some releasing breaths. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling out through your mouth. Like a big sigh, a big release. Maybe on that releasing breath, you can feel your shoulders drop, and the tension release from your body. Sigh it all out. Take as many of these breaths as feels good to you. Perhaps reflecting on anything specific that you'd really like to let go of today. Anything at all that you would like to release. You can let that go now. Imagine you're letting go of anything that isn't serving you. Opening the eyes back up when you're ready. Releasing the hands. Remembering, if you have more time, I would really strongly recommend taking another 5 to 10 minutes to lie down and have a full Shavasana here if you can. As always, please do subscribe to this channel to see more videos. There's 2 new videos that come out every week, and there's all sorts of different types suitable for all sorts of different levels. So do keep a lookout for that. Leave me your comments, leave me your feedback. For anybody who's interested in maybe a little bit more, maybe some live yoga classes, being part of my membership, where we've got kind of more in-depth breathwork practices, meditations, and longer kind of classes where we go into the energetic side of things more as well. Then do take a look at my membership. The link is below. And yeah, there's lots of different options on there. Thanks for practicing with me, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye.